So the Trump administration, in response to the immigrant caravan that is about 2 weeks away from the border, is now deciding to send thousands of troops to the border in order to protect America or something like that. Now, look, there's a lot of limitations on what they can actually do. So mainly they're there to provide logistical support, to support border patrol. They're not going to be armed or anything like that because they literally can't because they're on American soil. I mean, just imagine though, right, how Mexico feels with an armed buildup. If there was an armed buildup of military forces on the southern border. Crazy, right? But that's what Donald Trump plans to do, or at least what he imagines in his mind, what he's doing. But in reality, he's basically just wasting a shit ton of money. Now, how much money? We'll get into that. But first, documents obtained by Newsweek from two Defense Department officials show that intelligence officials do not anticipate any terrorist infiltration and only limited involvement of criminal gangs as the caravan follows its projected route. So Trump says we're sending the caravan, or we're sending the military to intercept the caravan at our border because it's filled with dangerous people, drug dealers and terrorists, people from the Middle East, etc., and people that are diseased with leprosy and measles, etc. And the Defense Department is saying, actually, we don't expect any sort of a problem. So then what are they doing there? What are they doing there? They're basically wasting money and time. Now, on Monday, the Pentagon announced that it was sending an additional 5,200 troops to the southern border amid the heated rhetoric from President Trump, including claims of the presence of unknown Middle Easterners, terrorists, and MS-13. Those claims are currently not supported by intelligence on the ground. You think Trump's going to listen to intelligence? You might want to have some intelligence first. But the planning documents include intelligence assessments and precise movement of U.S. forces. Now, there's a PowerPoint that was constructed by the Joint Force Land Component Commander Threat Working Group. God, that's like a word sandwich there. And used in a PowerPoint presentation on Operation Faithful Patriot on Saturday. The documents are unclassified, etc., but for official use only. Now, these documents outline deployment, and as of Saturday, officials plan to send troops to 4 specific parts of entry: Brownsville, Texas; McAllen, Texas; Nogales, Arizona; and San Ysidro, San Diego. I probably butchered and murdered some of those names, but I apologize for that. But that's where they're going. So they're going to the ports of entry. Now, the caravan, if it stays intact, right? Because like some of these caravans, they kind of fall apart or they peel off, or people decide to stay in Mexico, or some return. This one's actually fairly strong because there is safety in numbers. And so this group is like, well, since there is safety in numbers and people know we're coming, then we might as well just stay together until we get to a port of entry. And then when they're there, they'll turn themselves in and apply for asylum. You know why? Because they're asylum seekers. They're not going and planning on knocking over fences and trying to get into the country that way. No, they're trying to get into the country the legal way. Since applying for asylum is 100% legal. So that is the legal way to try to get into the country. Now, that said, right? So here we have military forces going to our border to protect against legal immigrants, people trying to get into the country legally through asylum. So how much are we wasting on this? Well, a Pentagon official familiar with the details told that initial values would start within the $50 million range. So $50 million to put these troops in the border for what? Basically a stunt. Basically politicking for the midterms. Oh, look at that. We put troops on the border. We are now safer. America is now safer. Vote Trump. But wait. That doesn't make any sense. Again, that is a waste of money that doesn't actually fit the facts. There is no southern threat on the border, right? Now, there's more details here in Newsweek. The estimated financial figures surged when factoring in the movement of equipment and associated logistical support, combined with the allocation of funds for U.S. troops on temporary duty, according to the source. Now, the official also said that if the deployment were to continue beyond 6 months, and it's supposed to last till about December, in earlier reports, that $50 million estimate would increase. As of Monday, the Defense Department said that the U.S. troops have planned for continued operations until mid-December, a statement supported by the documents supplied to Newsweek. Nonetheless, $50 million, and if they decide, or if there's like another caravan or something, oh, well then I'm gonna send more troops to the border because 2020 is coming up. And we're going to ramp up our 2020 campaign. Again, all this is a stunt. Now, Adam Isaacson kind of disputes that number. He thinks it's a little too low. And he is the director for oversight, research, and advocacy group, the Washington Office on Latin America. Now, he actually thinks that, no, it's actually going to cost about $1 million per day. Now, right now, the Defense Department says, oh, no, it's only going to cost about $200 per soldier a day in logistical costs. Right? And I'm sorry, I actually made a mistake there. That's that $1 million day figure. That is if it's 200 soldiers per soldier per day in logistical costs. That's still going to be $1 million per day. But he actually believes it's going to be higher than that. He says that the actual cumulative costs of sending 5,000 troops will likely be much greater than $1 million per diem. Now, the reason that he comes to that conclusion is that he actually looked at some historical facts. Now, previous deployments, for example, of National Guard troops to the southern border under former Presidents Barack Obama and George W. Bush could provide some insight into how much it's actually going to cost. In Operation Jumpstart, for example, Bush ordered the deployment of 6,000 National Guard troops to California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. U.S. service members were stationed there for 2 years, from June 2006 to July 2008. Bush had announced the measure in May 2006 as an immediate step to support the Border Patrol's efforts at the border. In testimony published in April 17, 2012, Major General John Nichols of the Texas National Guard revealed that the deployment cost the U.S. a total of $1.2 billion. Now, that works out to approximately $100,000 per soldier per year. Now, that's for 6,000 troops. Donald Trump wants to bring about 10 to 15,000 troops to the border. And is starting with 5,000. $50 million, it's going to be far more than that. Not only that, but under the Obama administration, the U.S. deployed National Guard troops to the U.S.-Mexico border under Operation Phalanx, an initiative that mobilized 1,200 service members in July 2010. Documents released by the Government Accountability Office showed that the first year of that deployment cost $110 million. Working out to roughly $91,666.66 per troop that year. That's a lot of money. Now, of course, $50 million for less than 6 months, right? For a couple of months is, look, not great. That's a lot of money. They're going to be wasting a ton of money just putting them on the border. And again, they're not doing anything. They're not armed. They're providing logistical support. Most of them are going to be sitting on their ass and not doing anything. And look, hey, thank goodness for that. Thank goodness they're not armed. What a disaster would that be? Having armed troops on the border between U.S. and Mexico. Are you trying to start a war with Mexico? I don't know. Maybe in Trump's mind he thinks, winter. That'd be great for us. Oh, yeah. But in reality, look, this is a waste of money that is predicated on a non-existent threat. the threat of the so-called caravan, right? And they are doing nothing but ratcheting up this horrific fear mongering. And so that's what they're doing, you know. So that's money that could have went to, I don't know, Medicare, Medicare for all, or helping people go to college, and we're just gonna waste it on a stunt. But hey, he doesn't care. It's not his money. It's your money. It's taxpayer money. So if that helps him, if wasting your money helps him keep a majority in Congress, well, then that's good for him, but not great for you.